Recent erratic rains have damaged crops, and border closures between Sudan and South Sudan are disrupting food trade, leading to frequent shortages and high food prices. Conflict and insecurity aggravate the situation. South Sudan has been beset by outbreaks of ethnic violence since it became independent in July from Sudan, and the presence of many armed groups and militias across the country, as well as an increase in refugees, add further complications.
Since the month of May, there has been a lot of trade disruption due to border closure and erratic openings along the northern border with the Republic of Sudan. This has made a dramatic impact on people's ability to get the most basic goods that they need to feed their families. So instead of being able to, in the hunger season, to just go and exchange a goat for cereal or other food products, what they're able to get on the market, because the prices have doubled or tripled, they can only get a fraction of what they might have gotten in a previous year.
WFP officials have characterized the looming humanitarian crisis in South Sudan as a gathering storm of hunger.
When people are hungry, or when people can't afford to buy food, when people are having to be dependent on support from outsiders, this is a storm both internally to them because they feel that they can't control their lives and they have no place to think for a future, and it's an external storm because food and hunger, when it's storming without any type of outlet, it makes for people to feel that there is something that is on the precipice of disaster.
Due to the poor infrastructure, up to 60% of the country becomes completely cut off during the rainy season. WFP urgently needs additional donor funding in order to complete preposition of food for areas that will be cut off after March. The agency estimates it will need emergency funds of about $92 million to address hunger needs in South Sudan in the first 4 months of next year.
Too few barges like this are able to get that food into the markets here, which is one of the reasons why the prices of staple commodities like sorghum are very, very high. Humanitarian agencies, including WFP, have also had difficulty being able to get commodities across the border. So that's one of the problems that we're facing as we're preparing to try and cope with the humanitarian crisis in South Sudan.
WFP has said it will scale up its operation to support 2.7 million hungry and conflict-affected people in 2012. Assistance will include providing highly fortified supplementary foods to more than 500,000 children, pregnant women, and nursing mothers. In addition to emergency assistance, WFP will help communities and families become more self-sufficient and productive through food for assets activities, while laying the groundwork for other projects to build longer-term resilience. Meanwhile, the United Nations mission in South Sudan, UMIS, has delivered donated school benches to the Atlabara West Basic School in Juba. This donation was part of the mission's outreach project to communities with a goal of building the capacities of institutions in the newly formed nation. The 16 new decks were made by UMIS engineers who hope this will be one of the many small projects that members of his team can be involved in across the 10 states of South Sudan. Handing over the decks to the school, spokesperson of UMIS, Alim Sideki, said that young people are the future of this new country.
The children of South Sudan face very many significant challenges in this new country, and the children are probably the most important part of the population here. They are the future of this country. They are the people who will rebuild and make this new nation a strong, prosperous nation. So it's imperative that we support the youth of this country.
It is not uncommon in some areas of South Sudan to see students carrying their own chairs to school or sitting under makeshift structures in pursuit of an education. Speaking of these challenges, the school's headmaster, Venancio Malomburong, said that the school still faces many problems.
This nation is still young. We are faced with many of the problems. Especially teaching is not up to date.
South Sudan is confronting numerous challenges, and the educational sector is no exception. The sector faces a lack of proper facilities, trained personnel, and much-needed basic school supplies. Margaret John Alia is a third-grade student at Atlabara West Basic School in Juba. She was one of the lucky pupils to use the new bench in her class.
This bench is nice and comfortable. We've had few benches in our class. Some of us were sitting on the floor and few were sitting on benches. Now we have received these benches and it's good to sit on it.
The road ahead is long, but for the South Sudanese, it is a worthwhile journey as education is vital to the survival and growth of a nation.